Hello everyone, this is Yamina from Dr. GPCR, coming in live, or almost, from the Great Lakes GPCR retreat, and we're standing in front of the Salle Canada, where the poster presentations are happening, and I have with me Khalid Abdurrahman, and I get to do it the right way. Khalid, nice to see you again. How are you?
Nice to see you too. Thanks. I'm doing very well, and it's very nice to see you.
Yeah, and it's been, we've seen each other in person, but it's only at the GPCR retreat meetings.
True. I've been hiding for the past year or so, just getting started at UBC, and
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. I remember when we recorded our podcast episode, you were still a postdoc.
Yeah, I was looking. I'm looking, and it was almost finalized, but I was not allowed to talk about it. But now started. So.
Very exciting. So it's been a year since you started as
a year exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a work-versary for you here.
It is lab-versary. Yeah, exactly. But it's been good. But first of all, I'm very happy to be here. I love this meeting. I've been coming to the meeting since 2015, so 8 years.
Wow.
Well, I mean 7, because it was canceled 1 year. But I love it. The science people, and meeting everybody in the field and talking about science and bouncing ideas. It's great.
Absolutely, and there's been I want to say, not an excess, but an abundance of mouse models and mouse work.
Agreed. A lot of mouse models, and indeed a lot of useful mouse models for characterizations of a lot of signaling mechanisms and phenotypes that can be actually used by other researchers. It's not only for this particular researcher, but can be a useful resource for other researchers.
I think so too, so this is where Friday, Saturday is the last day of the meeting, and I don't think I've seen a Brett biosensor yet to that extent as usually we do, but
I think it's coming tomorrow.
I was sitting there on Michelle and I was seeing his slides.
Michelle and Stefan, probably tomorrow,
But I think it's something that's unusual for this meeting. Typically it's very dominant on the biosensors and the biosignaling in cell systems.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that, as you mentioned, there's a lot of mouse models, and there's also a lot of very useful and very translatable to different receptors mouse models.
I think the organizers this year try to introduce a different mix to the meeting, and I mean it still covers a lot of topics in a lot of areas, but
we did.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of topics.
Yeah,
it's been great.
A lot of receptors. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about how is it to be a PI, an independent investigator?
Oh. Well, as I mentioned in my talk, today I decided to start my talk because it's been a year, and the project that I talked about today about muscarinic receptors has been in the making for 2 years almost, and there was a pause over the last year because I'm busy. So I decided to actually explain to people so that why I was lazy, and I was just it wasn't being lazy. It was about learning a lot of things as a PI. It was definitely a learning curve for me, learning how to multitask, learning how to manage finances, which is a big part of the job, and learning how to squeeze as much as you can in equipment with a limited startup, and then picking the right people to start the lab with you, because you need specific expertise as you start. And then, of course, grand deadlines, which happens to be all
at the same
time, right? So all these things were to me also as well getting used to the new city, and family getting settled in the new city. So it was busy, but I love it. It's great, and I think we're getting there slowly but surely. Now there are people in the lab. The lab is up and running. We have equipment. We can do experiments. We start to do experiments. So it's happening.
That's great, and I hear you're recruiting. So tell us a little bit more about what kind of positions you're looking for.
I've been looking for a research technician, but I hired a research technician, but we'll be opening positions for most likely postdoc and master's student in the coming year. So that will be my next goal for recruitment. But it is happening. Yeah.
That's great. I'm happy. And for anyone listening to this recording, once it gets released, people will be able to find you in the ecosystem through the links that you provided us with your podcast episode. But if you have a job ad whenever you're ready, you can just send it to us and we'll be happy to post it.
That's great. Actually, I've never thought about this. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, because I had job postings over the past few months. I never thought to send it your way, but I will do that.
Yeah, please.
You know how you have a very wide audience.
Yeah, and it's absolutely free. There's a Google form that you fill out, and then someone from our team is going to put it up.
Very much. Yeah, that's great that you're doing this. So it's a huge help for the community. So
I'm glad. Thank you. And we also are collaborating with, and actually we have a new chief matchmaker.
Okay.
His name is Mark Schmeisel, and Mark is actually a recruiter with over 25 years of experience in
recruiting.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
And he has a wide network in the U.S. I don't know yet if in Canada, but the sky's the limit. And he worked at companies that covered GPCRs, so he's really good. And he was also on the podcast, so if you want to get to know Mark, that's the best way to...
Will do for sure. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of the meeting.
That was great, and thank you very much for having me. That's great.
Of course, thank you. All right, hello everyone. This is Yamina from Dr. GPCR, coming in live again from the Great Lakes GPCR retreat, and I have Maddie with me today. She is part of Lauren Slosky's lab. Maddie, super excited to have you on. How is it going in the meeting today?
It is very eventful. Learning a lot about all the other amazing GPCR scientists that have worked with Lauren, my PI, who is also incredible herself. But it's really cool to be a part of this really intertwined community that all seem to love the same things.
Exactly. So you're a PhD student?
Yep, I'm a second-year PhD student at the University of Minnesota in the pharmacology program.
Nice. And this is your first GPCR meeting? Or
this is my first conference that's not on the U of M campus, and it is in a different country and the whole shebang. So,
how do you like it so far?
Keeping me busy, that's for sure. It's very it's very structured, so it keeps you going throughout the whole day. They keep you pumped full with coffee, so you can't really complain.
Definitely.
And snacks.
Yes,
and snacks.
Which I have to say, it's typical for this meeting. Food is really good typically at this meeting.
It is really good.
But they're keeping us very busy. Well, I'm glad you got a chance to experience this. I've been coming to this meeting for about 15 years now. I first presented my first poster at this meeting as a master's student, so it's like coming home for me. What do you think about the quality of the talks, the posters? I know you're gonna need a week to recover from this
for sure.
Get back home.
I think it's cool to see all the other different molecular mechanisms for all the different GPCRs and seeing how much they do overlap, and seeing things that other groups have done with their receptor that maybe we could try with our receptors. But then there's also animal experiments that I just love seeing, all the pretty brain pictures and all those things. So hopefully I'll have some of those to share in the next coming years. But
hopefully,
yeah.
I'm curious where the next meeting will be, so we'll know by tomorrow morning.
Oh, we will. Okay.
I'm very excited about that. Yes, so with this meeting, there is a business meeting only for PIs.
I saw it on the schedule. It's a late one.
It's a late one, but it typically is all the PIs sitting together and saying, okay, who wants to organize next? And then somebody's going to say, oh, I'll do it. And then that's about it for that meeting. Can you tell us a little bit more about your project?
Sure.
Without your poster, might I add?
I was trying to visualize it in my head. In the last few years, or during Lauren's time as a postdoc, she was a part of a group that helped develop this beta-arrestin biased allosteric modulator for the neurotensin receptor 1. And what I'm working on right now is figuring out what the molecular mechanism is of that in HEC293 cells. Mm-hmm. But my next step will be to understand what cell type this is acting on in the brain, specifically in the nucleus accumbens, and we already have a lot of evidence that NTSR1 ligands do have an effect on attenuating meth-induced locomotion when injected into the nucleus accumbens. Wow. So now my next job, after we did this molecular stuff, I'm going to look into the specific cell types and the circuitry of NTSR1 expressing neurons in the brain, and it'll keep me busy for sure.
Yeah.
So well, I'm hoping to come with some mouse data in the next couple of years.
I was going to say that hopefully next year we're going to come back with, well, depending on when the meeting is.
Right.
It's been once a year typically, but with COVID, we pushed it out. So this meeting, well, actually, let me take 3 steps back. The previous meeting was 18 months ago. Oh. And I think, okay. It was in May of 2022. And we'll see at the business meeting this evening, what the next team wants to do, if they want to do it every year or every 18 months. Apparently, it's way more relaxed if you take 18 months to organize it, because there's a lot of work going into it and it's less stressful.
And then people have a little bit more time to plan if they want to attend. Yeah.
Exactly. But this has been an amazing couple of minutes chatting with you. Thank you for walking me through your poster.
Of course.
And very excited to see what your mouse data looks like next time.
Me too, honestly.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Yamina from Dr. GPCR. I have Victoria here with me. She just finished a couple of hours ago her presentation. Hi Victoria.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. It's very exciting because you and I have one thing in common, other than GPCRs, is you're in Tom Sackmar's lab.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself. How do you feel?
Very happy that I was able to do it and get through it all. I was shaking the entire time.
I couldn't see it.
Well, that's good. No, it was great. I mean, this is the first time I've been at the talk, and it's amazing. I'm meeting so many people, such a great experience. I'm in Tom Sackmar's lab, like you said. I'm a 4th-year PhD student, and I'm in the Tri-Institutional Chemical Biology program, which is Memorial Sloan Kettering, Weill Cornell, and Rockefeller. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so when we have to mention that you were the only student in the entire afternoon session, and if I didn't know that you were a student, I didn't know you, I would have never realized.
Oh, well, thank you.
The quality of the science was there. The presentation was amazing. You handled the questions really well.
Thank you.
So really, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking to be with all of the PIs and faculty, but kind of cool too.
Right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was telling you today when you were wondering about the lineup. And I said, after that, you can say you did it. And I don't think there was a lot of 4th-year PhD students in the field or even in the world who gave a talk, a real live talk in person in a session where they were the only students.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a nice thing on my my little CV.
Yeah, and it's a confidence booster, at least. I hope, at least.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was very nervous, as we talked about before, and very nervous there, but it does feel really nice because I don't think I walked through the poster session without someone saying, you did a great job, great talk.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. How are you finding the conference? You mentioned this was your first talk. Is this your first GPCR retreat?
This is my first GPCR retreat. I was supposed to come last time, but I got COVID. So I missed it, unfortunately. But yeah, no, this was it's been such a great experience, such a great conference. Like I said, everyone's so nice and everyone's so willing to talk to you about your research, and talk to you about their research, which is really lovely. And I feel like there's been a lot of students, there's been a lot of faculty, so it's a nice range of all different kinds of people, which is really lovely.
Yeah, I love the diversity in the topics. Yeah. There's a large number of animal models, which is unique, I want to say. Previous meetings were more biosensors, and then some animal models. But I really liked the fact that it was combined, but also at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of tools that were developed in the past couple of years that can be very nicely translated to other GPCRs, similar to your project. I really liked when you mentioned that, the methodology that you developed to using PROTACs, targeting GPCRs, you're testing other GPCRs as well.
Yeah, I am. And I totally agree that it's very interesting coming from a lab, and I'll quote Tom on this when he says we don't work with furry animals. So it's very interesting, and I love learning about how all of these new methodologies can be used in animals and different ways that people are studying GPCRs in animals, because it's something that I don't really get exposed to that much, especially with the chemical biology program that I'm in.
Of course. So 4th year, finishing up soon.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Without wanting to put you on the spot, and you can tell me, I don't want to talk about this. What next after your PhD?
I'm still really open to anything. I really enjoy developing technologies and developing assays, developing ways to study science, and I think GPCRs are really cool. Personally, I think it's very funny because I remember in college learning about a GPCR, and then in grad school, something just gravitated me towards them. So, yeah, I'd love to. I'm still kind of figuring it out, I think, but I'm not closed to anything.
Well, I think that's good. I think keeping an open mind and thinking about talking to different people who do different things is key to try and figure out what is it exactly that you'd like to do.
Yeah.
And, you have really two cool tools in your pocket, PROTACs and also GPCRs. I think it's a very unique approach.
Yeah.
Typically,
no, I agree.
when you go to conferences and you see PROTAC, there's very rare GPCRs, unless I'm absolutely misinformed.
No, you are 100% correct. Basically, most people say those two things together, and they're like, absolutely not. You can't do that. You should use something else.
Exactly. Well, it reminds me a little bit of Sylvia Goodkin's talk, GPCRs in immuno-oncology.
Yeah.
Which is still an emerging field.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, very exciting to meet you in person. I was at the last meeting, but now I know why you weren't.
Yes.
And enjoy the rest of the conference. It was really nice chatting with you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was great chatting with you too.